Hello, everyone. Hola todos. If you can see me and hear me clearly, if you could put it on the chat, I will be very grateful. So I know that I can start with the presentation, just a smiley face, a thumbs up, anything that can help me know that you are listening to me and that the platform is working well on your side. Awesome. Thank you so much for sending the thumbs up. Okay, guys. So, hi, everyone. My name is Carla Plasencia, and on behalf of the student world, I welcome you to this awesome live session that we have today. I will just guide you through the platform very quickly so we can get through the presentation. So on the right side of your screens, you have the chat. Here you can write anything that you want during the presentation. And actually, if you can help me just sharing where you're watching us from, that would be awesome. So we can get to know you a little bit better and give a better presentation for you. Um, Next to that, Mexico. Awesome. I'm from Mexico too. So that's great. Guatemala. Perfect. Okay, guys, just keep typing. I'm very, very excited to have you all here. Next to the chat, we have the questions tab. Here is where you can ask all your questions during the presentation. We will have a Q&A session at the end. And this is so we can keep a better track of them and we can address them better. And finally, we have the polls. That is the third tab. So I will be launching some polls during the presentation. All you have to do is choose the answer that is correct for you. I mean, there is no wrong or right. It's just so we can get to know you better and send the information. And if the notifications get a little bit annoying, because sometimes that happens with the chat, you can click on the bell that is right in the upper right corner, and that will mute them. Okay, so now I won't take any more of your time and I will introduce you to our presenters for today. We have Mohammed and Ferdinand, and we will be having Martha in just a few minutes. She's logging in. So, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with the students, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Carla, and good afternoon for you to everybody. Buenas tardes. For me and for Mohammed, it's actually much later in the night because we are both in Germany. So please bear with us if we look a bit tired or confused because it's actually after midnight here. But we're very happy to be here with you and to introduce to you ourselves and the EIT-Labelled Masters programs from EIT Raw Materials. Perhaps we will just start with some brief introductions. So my name is Ferdy Bulmer. I'm part of the education team at EIT Raw Materials. So that means I look after our EIT-labeled master's programs, which we will be talking about today. And we are lucky here to have also two of our students. I see Martha has just joined. So maybe you can quickly introduce yourselves. Mohammed, would you like to go first?
Sure. Well, myself, Mohammad Tasib Amir. I'm from Pakistan, and here I'm studying an EIT-labeled program, which is Emerald, and currently I am studying my third semester in Germany.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. And Martha, are you online? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you yet.
Okay, well, I'm working on my video, but I'll just introduce myself now. My name is Martha Henderson, and I'm a recent graduate of the CINRAM Masters. So I finished up in September. I am from Canada, and my background is in geology.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Martha. I just want to say to you guys watching, I know that this is, you guys are in Latin America. We do actually have quite a number of Latin American students as well. We don't happen to have Latin American students with us today, but we have a really broad range of students from all around the world on our programs. Excellent. So as Carla mentioned before, perhaps before we start with the presentation, we'd like to know a little bit more about you. So we have prepared a couple of polls. And we'd like you just to share your answers to the polls. So maybe, Carla, can you place our first poll? Our first poll is to find out what you guys have studied in your bachelor's degree. What is your academic background? Now, if you can't see something exactly like exact name of what you studied here, just pick something related. Of course, we've got an other button as well if it's none of those. So if everybody could please select their subject area, that would be really helpful. And hopefully all of you guys are coming from subjects related to these ones, if not exactly the same. So just give everybody a minute to complete their votes. Okay, so we have a lot of others, and let's just give you a moment more. And we also have a number of geologists, chemists, engineers from chemical and environmental engineering. Okay, and maybe those of you who've answered other, you could just go back to the chat and type your bachelor's degree topic or your major into the chat, just to give us an idea. Okay, so we do have some students here from non-science subjects. So at present, then we're not looking at people from non-science subjects for our non-science and engineering subjects. So if you're coming from science and engineering, then there are options for you. If you are coming from subjects which are more arts and humanities, then these programs are less likely to be for you. Okay, just for your information right at the start. Good. So I'll just give you a minute more to type, and then perhaps we can move on to the next question. So the next question is about where you would like to study, because we are not, in fact, just talking about Germany today. So would you please select which countries, you can select more than one, you would be interested in studying in Europe? Okay, Germany's winning. This is nice to see. Spain is on there as well. Spain is doing well, as is Italy. Okay. Excellent. I see even Croatia and Poland have some votes, which is great to see. And then let's move on now to the final question, just to know when you guys would be looking to start your master's degree. Bearing in mind that you would start with us in a September or October. So which year would you like to start your master's degree? Okay, so we've got lots of people already for 2023, already for this year. So big steps to take in 2023 for 61% of you moving on to your master's degree. So that's great to hear. You guys are in perfect time to get some information about this. And those of you who are selected 2024, you are in very good time, as you still have plenty of time to prepare everything and begin your master's in 2024. So thank you very much for this. So let's move on now with the presentation. And I'm going to start just by explaining to you what is EIT, what is EIT raw materials, and why do we exist? Because of course, EIT raw materials is not a university. This is the first thing which you will need to understand, I think, before you understand what our master's programs are all about. Of course, you would be studying at a university, but we are not a university. What are we? Well, the EIT is a body of the European Union. You'll see our EU flag on all of our materials, and it exists to power innovators and entrepreneurs to develop innovative solutions to global challenges. We are trying to solve problems through innovation. Okay, that's the purpose of the EIT. And how do we do this? The idea is that we bring together 3 key different types of organization in order to tackle these challenges, to solve these problems. And that's by bringing together companies, so business, universities, so education, and then research bodies. So all of the activities that we as EIT undertake are undertaken by partners from the business world, from the education world, and from the research world. And the idea is that by bringing together these 3 types of organization and bringing together their different skills and knowledge, we can actually create the conditions where innovations happen, where entrepreneurship is possible, and that we can create new businesses which solve the societal problems that we're trying to tackle. So that might sound a little bit vague, but I will give you a little bit more concrete information about how it's done. So the EIT is made up of 8 different innovation communities, and each of those innovation communities focuses on a different area or sector of the economy. So we've got health, we've got food, we've got digital, climate, energy, manufacturing, urban mobility, and ourselves that we are here. We are part of the EIT raw materials community. So our mission is to develop raw materials into a major strength for Europe. When we're talking about raw materials, I should just add, we are principally talking about metals and minerals and everything related to the metals and minerals value chain. Okay, we are not talking about raw materials like wood, like beef, or anything else which is not metallic. Okay, but why? Why did the EIT create EIT raw materials? Well, as you may be aware, the number of materials that we use in our society is growing exponentially. So you can see here an example of the different types of elements which are being consumed over the last 300 odd years and how that is increasing. And you may be aware that these kinds of raw materials are used everywhere in our modern life. And without these materials that we use every day, our modern life would not be possible. So this is very important to ensure that we have a secure supply of these materials and that they are being used and reused in a sustainable manner. And that's what we're here for. And we take very seriously as well the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So all of the projects that we take part in are related to one or more of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. Just to give you some more clear examples of how that links, of course, some important UN SDGs include the climate action, which is very much related to the green transition and the use of raw materials in order to facilitate that, for example, through renewable energy generation, through electrification and electrification of transportation in particular, looking at SDG 7 on affordable clean energy, sustainable cities and communities, and then responsible consumption and production. So most of in fact, all of the projects that EIT Raw Materials works on are related to some of these SDGs. And just to give you an example of why raw materials are so important, for example, to the green transition or to decarbonization, you can see on this graph the difference in terms of the number and quantities of minerals which are required, first of all, for an electric car in comparison with a conventional fossil fuel driven car. And then secondly, for different types of power generation, you can see that wind power, solar power, even nuclear, these energy sources are requiring a huge amount more of minerals, raw materials, compared with fossil fuels like coal and natural gas. So to make this green transition a success, we're going to need to ensure that we have a stable supply of these raw materials and that we are using them in a sustainable manner. So that is why EIT Raw Materials exists. Okay. And very soon I will get on to the master's programs, but I just wanted to give you a little background as to why we have EIT Raw Materials. And we want to tackle this problem. You can see how many of these important materials are being recycled at a very low rate. So those in red, this is a little bit old, this table, but it still gives you an idea of the challenge that we have in terms of the sustainable use of so many different materials. Okay, so I will perhaps skip through this because this is a little bit more detail about what we do, because I'm sure you're all keen to hear soon about the programs that we run. And the programs that we run are all related to what we call our innovation themes. So you can see the innovation themes here on the slide. They relate to different areas or different parts of what we call the raw materials value chain. And specifically, we offer as EIT Raw Materials with our university and industry partners today 9 EIT-labelled Masters programs. This is up from previously 6. And they're positioned here on our raw materials value chain, and you can see to which part of the value chain they relate. Having said that, I would say all of the programs are also related to a much broader overview of the value chain as well. So we aim to give you that as well. So shortly, I will ask Martha and Mohammed to talk a little bit about their programs that they've studied and the experience they've had and what they've learnt about. But maybe before we do that, just an overview of where you can study, because I think a lot of you are giving different answers about where you would like to study. Well, the programs that we run are actually offered through more than 20 different universities right across Europe. Martha, which different universities and countries did you study in?
Yes, so the SINRAM program, we study in Ghent University in Belgium, TU Bergakademie Freiburg in Germany, and then Uppsala University in Sweden.
And Mohammed, where are you studying?
So for Emerald, we started from University of Liège in Belgium. Then we went to University of Lorraine in France for the second semester. And in the third semester, you can choose among 2 countries, Luleå Institute of Technology in Sweden and TU Bergakademie Freiburg, where I'm currently in Germany.
Yeah, so these are real international programs that we're talking about. You will always study in more than 1 country, and sometimes even 3, or perhaps even 4, depending on where you do your master thesis. So you would not be studying just in one of these countries that you selected, but in a number of different countries on our program. So before we go on into a little bit more detail about the programs themselves and hear a bit more from Mohammed and Martha, let's have a look at a quick video, which will just give you a little introduction to the programs themselves.
It is quite amazing if you talk about materials to people in general that they don't realize that everything they use is made out of hundreds of thousands of different types of materials. And at some point, they will have to be mined or recycled.
All the shelver deposits that were close to the earth, they are already mined out.
Innovation in the raw materials sector is of importance because as we are facing a potential scarcity, we need to come up with new ways to produce these materials in a more efficient way, in a more green way. EIT-labelled programs has a number of exciting master programs along the value chain. We need students who are highly motivated, who have the drive to meet these challenges head-on and change society for the better. If you look at this electric vehicle, of course the battery is a major component. We start from primary resources to battery materials and then discarding these battery materials. We want to close that loop and keep using these materials for generations.
Here at Umicore, we recycle the battery, recover the metals out of it, and put them back into new battery materials. The EIT programs are particularly interesting for us because they foster entrepreneurship and innovation, as well as having a strong technical component, which are exactly the people that we need for our company.
We learned quite a lot about the marketing, the project management, operation management, analyze the production strategies in the industry.
The EIT-Labelled programs has given me the technical background to really become successful. And when the opportunity is there, the sky will be my limit.
The world needs more experts in raw materials. An excellent first step for future game changers is to take an EIT Raw Materials Master's program.
Okay, thank you. As the video mentioned, these are EIT-labelled programs. Now, the EIT label is a particular quality seal for master's programs at the moment, which is demonstrating that they include not only technical knowledge, but also you would have the opportunity to learn about innovation and entrepreneurship as part of your studies. And this all connects to what I mentioned earlier about the purpose of EIT and EIT raw materials to boost innovation and entrepreneurship. Mohammed or Martha, maybe, can you tell us a little about the innovation and entrepreneurship training that you did as part of your studies?
Okay, so in Emerald, actually, we started our studies according to raw materials, but we do have a business school where we focus on entrepreneurship and several sectors and several kind of subjects and workshops, summer schools related to business development, like how to optimize those challenges that we have according to raw materials, and learning the business skills and bring them towards the startup and move on further and solve those issues. So as a part of the Emerald program, especially, you have a special design summer training for in this.
Thanks. Martha? Was Sinram similar?
Yes, it's pretty similar in Sinram. So through Uppsala University, we have a few courses that are offered in our regular semester that are mandatory for all students to take, that are focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. But then we also have specifically an entrepreneurship track. So you can, that's new as of last year, so you can choose to do that, your thesis in entrepreneurship and innovation as well. Plus with like EIT raw materials, there's lots of opportunity for like startup competitions and training through that as well.
Excellent, thank you. Besides the course content, of course, the idea of these programs is that they give you the skills which will make you an employable person who will hopefully be successful in finding a job within the raw materials industry, or indeed setting up your own startup. We do, and I will get to this shortly, have some scholarships and financial support to help you to study, and you get to contribute to a more sustainable future. So this is something which, these are very much the benefits of studying an EIT-labelled program. So what are the actual programs? This was what you were waiting for. So I'll just briefly show you the 9 programs that we offer, but we would focus, I think, a little bit on the 2 programs of our students who are here today, because they can tell you a little bit about them. So first of all, though, in the area of mineral exploration, I did notice that we had somebody from geology who might be interested in this. We have 2 programs in the area of mineral exploration. One of them is focusing on core earth science disciplines and field-based training, and that is the TIMREX program. You can study in Croatia, Hungary, Poland, and Sweden. And we also have the RAMIS program, which is looking very much from the sustainability perspective of raw materials exploration. And this is studied in Italy and Norway. You will see on the screen the URLs for the web pages of each of these programs. So please do take a screenshot or note it down if you're interested. We will also, of course, follow up with an email on this with the links that you'll need. But in case you don't get that, you might want to note these down. In the area of mining engineering, we also have a couple of programs, and these are suitable for mining engineers, mineral process engineers, environmental engineers, and the other backgrounds that you can see on the screen here. We have the Raven. This is a new program taught in Germany and Poland, and the MATIM program, which is taught in Finland, Poland, and Spain. So again, if you are interested in these, please do check out those websites. And I should say that you'll have a chance after we're speaking also to ask any questions that you might have. On this page, we have some information about Emerald and CINREM, and the people who would be best able to explain those are Mohammed and Martha. So Mohammed, will you tell us a little bit about Emerald and what it's all about and what kind of people it's for?
Sure. Thanks, Verdi. So Emerald is actually, I will briefly explain it, that Emerald is actually a triple degree master program which provides you 120 ECTs in 2 years. So you start your education from University of Liège in Belgium, where you mostly study about the geology and mineral processing. Its actually goal is to cover a major part of the loop of geometallurgical studies. So in Belgium, you study about geology, mineral resources, mineral processing, and a little bit introduction about the recycling. So then you move to the France for your second semester. You study in Nancy, University of Liège, where you mostly study about the advanced mineral processing and what are the better technologies and techniques to efficiently produce the minerals from their primary forms. And then afterwards you have a several sort of visits in different regions of the Europe for in the geological fields, in already developed mines, where you explore the things practically what you have studied, and then in the summer, as I already mentioned, that you have business traineeship, where you study about entrepreneurship, business development, which really helps you in your future if you are interested to throw a startup in any of the idea about raw materials. And in the third semester, you have a choice among Sweden and Germany. And if you are more interested in the primary raw materials and the mineral processing, then you can choose Sweden. And if you're more interested towards secondary raw materials, for example, the materials coming from the waste electronic scraps, and if you're interested in recycling them, then you can choose Germany, where you study mostly about these recycling technologies. And then for the fourth semester, you're open to choose any of the 3 universities you have already studied. If you go to Germany in the third semester, then you can select among Belgium, France, and Germany. So respectively, which universities you have studied, depending on the thesis where you can get. And that's all about the Emerald program briefly. Thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed. And just briefly, what are the kind of backgrounds of of you actually? What did you study before, and then what are some of the other people on your programs?
From my bachelor's, I'm a mining engineer. So the students who already have a degree in engineering related to mining, geological engineering, mineral processing, chemical engineers, metallurgical engineers, like these kind of students can apply. And also from the South America, some students are geologists, and in some countries I hear that they have 5 or 6 year geologist degrees, but they have studied some mathematical subjects, which equalizes their degree or bachelor subjects with engineering degrees, so they can also get accepted. So yes, it's all about the eligible students.
Thanks a lot, Mohammed. And Martha, will you tell us a bit about CINREM and what it's all about?
Yes, absolutely. So the CINREM program, it is an International Masters of Science in Sustainable and Innovative Natural Resource Management. And so I think out of the master's programs, it's one of the most broad programs, as we cover the entire value chain of the raw materials. And so we go from mineral exploration to like mining and resource extraction, as well as recycling and circular economy. And so we all come from a bunch of different backgrounds. Like I mentioned before, I'm a geologist, and there's a few other geologists in the cohort. But we also have lots of like metallurgical engineers, chemical engineers, environmental engineers, and environmental scientists, chemists, physicists, mining engineers. So a very broad range of students. And so for the masters, we all start. What's really nice about the masters is we stick together for the entire first year. So we all start in Ghent together in Belgium, and there we study more about recycling and circular economy. And then you travel to Sweden, to Uppsala, and the focus there is on like georesource exploration, so more geology focused. But then we also touch on innovation and entrepreneurship. And then in the summer, we go to TU Freiburg and we do a resource chemistry course, summer school. And then after the first year, we all split up and you choose one of the universities to do your thesis at, and you pick one of those topic areas to specialize in.
Thanks, Martha. And there are also internships as part of the programs, aren't there? What kind of internships do people do?
Yes, so for CINRAM, we are required to do a 5-week internship in our second year mostly. And they have to have some non-academic portion to it. So it can be either government organization or industry sponsored. And there's a really broad range of topics that you can cover in pretty much the full value chain of raw materials. So some students did their internship at like Umicore, focused on recycling, some at like Vito, which is a Belgian like government institution that they do a lot of like research and innovation for circular economy topics. Some did internships with mining companies like in northern Sweden. Some in different like labs, different companies, a lot of topics you can choose. For me, I did my internship focused on like responsible sourcing. So I was working with a company like in the automotive industry and looking at sourcing their raw materials for the batteries.
Thanks, Martha. And do you think any of the students actually ended up working afterwards with the companies that they'd had an internship with?
Yeah, for sure. So I know some of our classmates, they were doing an internship in like with a mining company in geology, and they're working at the companies now. Some of them in Belgium as well. Both internships and thesis topics have come out of the internships as well. So they started off as an internship and then they were asked to come back and do their thesis. And then also like PhD opportunities as well. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity to find connections for future work and as well.
Lovely, thank you. Perhaps we'll come back a little bit to future work afterwards. But the time's moving on. We have a few more things to talk about as well. So let me just show you the remaining programs that we have. And of course, I will tell you how you can also get in touch with students from these programs as well, if you want to hear directly from people who are studying them. So we also, in the advanced materials area, we have the AMIS program, Advanced Materials for Innovation and Sustainability. And this is suitable for engineers and scientists with knowledge of chemistry, materials science, and physics. We have the SUMA program, which is suitable again for a similar group of individuals. So you do need to have some chemistry knowledge, for example, in order to be successful on these programs. Again, they are studied across different countries, which you can see on the screen. Please do visit the websites to find out more. And then finally, we have the Master on Advanced Materials Innovative Recycling. This is quite a unique program in Europe, and the focus is on the recyclability, again, of advanced materials. And that's for a similar possible group of potential students. So do check these out. I will put after in the chat a link. So, and as I mentioned before, email everybody. with some links so that you can find out more. But before we move on, perhaps to any questions from the audience, I also have a little bit more to show you, because what we call the added value of studying an EIT-labelled master's program are the additional extracurricular activities in which you'll be able to take part. So, as you can see on this slide here, during your 4 semesters of study, you will have a number of additional activities that you can join. So these are not actually core parts of the curriculum, but we think that they are very valuable to your network, to your soft skills, and also hopefully enjoyable. So I think Mohammed and Martha are quite good people to talk about some of these activities. So during semester 1, you would have an induction, a welcome to EIT raw materials, and you'd also have the chance to become a label representative. I think both of you guys have been label representatives. Martha, what did you do as a label representative?
Yeah, so as a label representative, I was elected as from my cohort to represent the group at like the EIT Raw Materials Label Board. And with that, we organized some events for the students and shared information that comes from EIT Raw Materials. So we had a couple events that are on here, the label startup days that we organized for the first year students, and then the label launch for the second year students, which was a kind of a graduation ceremony in Berlin.
Thanks. And maybe tell us a bit about the label startup days, which is the additional activity which students offer during semester 2. What's it all about?
Okay, so the label startup days, so I attended 2 versions of it. The first one was online, and then the second one was in person in Berlin. But the one that we organized, which was online, we had a number of startup companies that were invited to speak to the students and to encourage them to think about having a startup on their own. We did some activities related to that, so like learning about like the business model canvas and how to get your idea out there as a startup. But also the startups that joined us, some of them had internship opportunities and thesis opportunities, so it was also a really good networking event.
Excellent, thanks, Martha. And then semester 3, or rather before semester 3, we have another activity, which is a 2-week summer school. It's called The Race. Mohammed, you were taking part in The Race in 2022. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. What was it?
Sure. Thank you, Ferdy. So race is the 2 weeks and 2 weeks program in which you go to, which is organized by EIT Raw Materials for all the EIT-labelled master students across the Europe who are studying. So it is organized to in terms of visiting some industries for the whole group, and expert talks from different startups, from researchers, from several industries, universities, so which is really helpful for the students. And I would integrate these, what you can get benefits from. I will integrate into 3 things. Like, first thing, that you can increase your networking at the industrial platform. You meet different people, you meet researchers, so you can see which one is who has a similar interest with you. So you can talk to the person, you can reach them. So it's a good thing to increase your networking. And secondly, you get a chance to present a business idea, which really needs some skills. So in this way, you apply your skills, you learn more from the different students, because the students come from all over the world, and you work as a group. So it's also a good learning activity in which you learn troubleshooting, analytical skills, and and much more things. And when you go to this activity, you don't only just work, you also have a chance to diversify your social circle and explore more cultural activities as well. So it's very prestigious opportunity, and it's wonderful, which is very worthy for a student at least.
Thanks, Mohammed. And actually, we have a video which we can show you guys in a moment from the race in 2022. And then the final program during your studies, the final additional activity which you are offered is called Label Launch. And Martha, you were at Label Launch in 2022. What was that about?
Yeah, so the Label Launch was kind of like a graduation celebration for the graduating class. And it was really nice because not only is it just the SINREM cohort, which my group was 26 students, but we were with all of the EIT raw material label students, which is, I think there's maybe 100 students. So you get to meet students from the Emerald program and students from like Amos and Amir. And so that was really nice to get to celebrate and network with the whole EIT group. We also had some interview prep sessions and resume sessions, as well as learning about like career opportunities and also like whether we want to pursue a PhD. So we had some guest speakers come. So it was a really nice event where we are looking, I guess, beyond the EIT programs and where we can move on forward.
Thanks, Martha. And if we have time, we also have a short video from the Label Launch in which you're actually starring, Martha. Good. And then after you finish, we also have an entrepreneurship support program called Lab to Market. And this is for students who would like to learn a bit more about becoming an entrepreneur, maybe to develop their business idea and actually to create a startup. So a lot of support, including financial support for those students who go on to actually start their own company. And we have, of course, our alumni association as well that you can use to stay in touch with not only all of the other students, but all the people in the EIT raw materials community who are also professionals, academics, entrepreneurs. So a real range of people all interested in different parts and the whole of the raw materials value chain. So let's have a quick look now at this video about the race, and we can see our race 2022 edition, which Mohammed was just describing to us.
This event has been one of the best opportunities that was given to me. We got to meet new people and new cultures, create connections with partner university and partner companies, while visiting one of the best places on earth. We got the opportunity to truly see how the working life would look like, thanks to visiting the mines, recycling facility and laboratories.
The last 2 weeks have probably been the most important part of my life as a master's student here in Europe. And I've got to experience what it means to actually be part of the future of Europe, basically with respect to how materials are handled and to ensure that we have some level of supply security in Europe. So it has been an extremely fruitful and rewarding process, from the teamworks to the travel times. I got to experience Finland and Sweden, and it's been amazing, the hospitality from the EIT team, and also get exposed to industry processes by industry experts through expert lectures and visitation to mines and factories.
Did not know that it was going to be so related to my topic in my research. So actually I had a great experience, not only with the expert talks, but also with the visits. We created a great network and contact, not only with professionals, but already among us, because like everybody comes from very different backgrounds, very different nationalities, studies, everything. So it was very interesting, and it was personally and professionally fulfilling.
I think it's been a very, very good opportunity of seeing a lot of different points of view from other industries and to meet a lot of people related to the industry. I would like to thank EIT-Labelled Materials for the opportunity of being here and participating in this great event.
And thanks to the organizers, they were good communicators and people's person. I feel so welcome and I feel at home. And I feel I could do great things, and I'm happy to be with like minds like myself.
Megan and myself, we really wanted to thank you all for your engagement. We had lots of speakers and lots of hosts come and say to us that you guys were really engaged and they were really impressed. So honestly, keep it up, and we are so happy.
First, congratulations for what you have produced. I saw a lot of creativity, of enthusiasm, of entrepreneurship mindset, of involvement. Amazed by the level of quality and the detailed answer you gave. So all of you, congratulations.
Congratulations on all of those achievements.
I've been open to a lot of innovations and ideas, a lot of great people who have actually opened my eyes onto new opportunities. And I really think that this is a great opportunity for everybody, and if you get a chance as this, you need to actually be part of it, be able to learn more, explore, and then keep up on ideas. I just want to say that this being the last day of all this Power Packed everything, the Power Pack program and the conference, it has really been so much helpful. And for now, I'm so much pushed to go back out there and have a startup. I've got everything needed, and I can really do it.
And thank you, Race.
Thank you. Thanks to EIT, thanks to this Race conference.
Okay, so that was Race. That hopefully gave you a little bit of an insight. We certainly did a lot of traveling. And then, yeah, let me just quickly, before we get to the final bit, I just mentioned Lab to Market. I said that this was an entrepreneurship support program. So this is exclusively for the graduates of the EIT-Labelled Master's programs and also for PhD students. You can complete it alongside your studies or work. And we have funding of 150,000 euros to support teams reaching the final stage of the program. So really some significant support to help you to create and build your startup. Okay, so it's a 3-phase program. We're looking at between 5 to 15 teams actually reaching the final phase 3, and then actually creating their startup, and then learning quite a wide range of all of the most important skills and connections that you'll need to build your startup. And at the end, having a chance to pitch to investors, to possible customers across the EIT raw materials network. So really a way in to the sector in Europe and to become an active entrepreneur, and a lot of support there to actually bring you to that stage. Okay. I should add that you can join this program without knowing that you really want to become an entrepreneur and there's nothing else that you want to do, it's also a way that you can explore and experiment and gain experience. Okay, so don't feel that to join these programs you must be really committed to becoming an entrepreneur. Of course, many students go on to become employees or professionals, to go into further study and research. So really, it can open a lot of doors to you, whatever you want to do. And that also links to the EIT Raw Materials alumni, which are our professional network for people who have been involved in all kinds of activities, not only education, but also upscaling of new technologies, working in startups connected to EIT Raw Materials. And they run a number of activities and have an online platform which can help you to make connections, find jobs, and attend various activities and networking events. So on just briefly now, we have only a few minutes left, and I want to leave a couple of minutes to answer some of the questions which are there in the chat. What do you need in order to join the program? Well, every program has its own entry requirements and application process. You will find that on the program websites. However, you will find in general that, of course, you will need to demonstrate that you have proficiency in the English language. So even though, in fact, these programs are not taught in English-speaking countries, but they are all English language programs. So you will need to get a certificate to demonstrate your English language ability. Do check out the websites for the precise requirements in terms of academic backgrounds. And something else which we look for in students is some kind of evidence that you have an entrepreneurial mindset. So think about this when you're writing your motivation letter, how you can demonstrate that you are a little bit entrepreneurial. In terms of, this is really important, how much is it going to cost? So again, the programs do vary because they're all delivered by different universities, and therefore the fees also vary. So we do have some programs, I think, which have really do not have any fees, up to around 12,000 euros per year, depending on the program that you choose. I think important to add, though, that there are quite a lot of scholarships available for these programs. So nearly all of the students on our programs are in receipt of a scholarship. And that, in most cases, that's either the EIT Raw Materials Scholarship, which is 13,500 euros that you will be receiving to help with your living expenses. This does not mean that you do not have to pay the fees, but you would receive these funds from us to help you with your expenses. And alternatively, Erasmus Mundus scholarships for some of the programs. Mohammed, are you receiving an Erasmus Mundus scholarship?
Yes, I'm with Erasmus Mundus scholarship.
Yeah, and what does that cover?
It covers everything. It gives you travel cost for 2 years. It also gives you installment cost, and it also gives you per month stipend, which is quite enough to live anywhere throughout the master program. Do you want me to mention the numbers?
Yeah, that's helpful, I think.
Okay, so the Erasmus Mundus scholarships, which are already granted by Erasmus Mundus Association from the previous projects which are going on, it gives you 1,000 euros stipend per month for 24 months. The travel cost is 3,000 euros per year, 3,000 euros per year, and the installation cost is 1,000 euro in the beginning of your first semester when you just arrive here to settle down. But the new Erasmus Mundus scholarship has changed something in their agreements. Like now, from the further agreements or the new programs which are coming, they will give 1,400 euros per month, which is even more with the previous funding per month throughout the master's program for 24 months. So that's quite enough to survive, or even students can save and they can travel and enjoy.
Great. Yeah, and currently we have 3 of our programs which have the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. That's SINREM, Emerald, and AMIA. And the other programs, we have students eligible for these EIT Raw Materials scholarships as well. And do think about, when you're thinking about your programs, of course, different countries in Europe have very different costs of living. So if you are studying in Hungary or in Poland, for example, your cost of living is going to be a lot less than if you were studying in Sweden or Finland. So this is something to take into account when thinking about your finances. Okay, so how do you apply? You go directly to the website. You will find all of the instructions to apply there. Some of the programs, specifically the Erasmus Mundus programs, are generally already accepting applications, and you would need to apply by February. So by next month, if you wanted to start in September this year. So do take a look if you're wanting to start in September and start on this process as soon as you can. Some of the other programs which are non-Erasmus Mundus, they have a slightly later application period, so that would probably be starting around March time to submit your application. Of course, the earlier you apply, the earlier you can get your visa, and the more likely you can actually start right at the beginning and not miss anything, and not have to be sitting at home on your computer as all of your classmates are already in the lecture theatre because you're still waiting for your visa. So best avoid it. What do you need? Well, it's a similar standard range of items that you're going to need. Your transcript. If you've already graduated, then your certificate or a letter from your university. If you don't have the certificate, your English language certificate, your motivation letter, a reference from a teacher and or an employer, and your passport. You may be asked for an interview. Some of the programs do interviews, some of them do not. But all of the information on what you will need, you will find it on the website, and you can also contact us. And I think we don't have a lot of time left, so maybe I won't show you this video right now, but I also wanted to mention to you, I mentioned earlier that you can chat with more students from our programs if you visit this URL, which you can see on the screen. So you can see Mohammed's profile there, but you can also chat with students from many different programs and just get some information from them about firsthand about their experiences, how they applied, what they needed. So that's a really good step to take if you're interested in applying to one of these programs. Get in touch with an ambassador from the programs. Okay, so Carla, I know that we're out of time, but I would like to still answer some questions which are in the question area.
Of course, yeah, we can take a few minutes, and even when you're done answering the questions, if you want to show the video, we can do that as well.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. So let's start with a question from Carmen is asking, can you work while studying? Yeah, it's a good question, Carmen. What do you think, Mohammed, Martha? Is it possible to work while you're studying?
I would say that studying is pretty intense. Like the master's programs are a lot of work. So it's hard to plan time for studying, but with our student visas, you're often allowed to work a certain number of hours. So it's possible, but will be intense in your schedule. So I wouldn't plan on working full time. But some of our classmates work part-time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks. And also to bear in mind that you're moving around between different countries. So it's you might find that you've got a job and then suddenly you had to move to a different country for your courses. So it's not like staying in the same place for 2 years where maybe you have a little more time and stability there. You're actually getting this international experience. But of course, as Martha says, yeah, you are allowed to work. There's nothing to stop you if you are able to organize your time well enough. Good, thank you. I will say that I'll come back to the second question from Carmen. Alejandra says, do you know a similar program where it's possible to develop sustainable materials? for architecture, industrial design, furniture design, etc., like biomaterials, sustainable structures, and components. So, as I mentioned at the start, our programs focus on metals and minerals. So, of course, if you can use metals and minerals for architecture, industrial design, even furniture design as well. So, of course, in that context, then the answer would absolutely be yes. If you're talking about biomaterials or other types of materials, which are not from the mineral value chain, which are not metals, then you would be able to study them in the context of substitution. So if you are finding, for example, or working with some new biomaterials which are more sustainable and replace some metallic materials which are less sustainable, then that would be relevant and you would be able to study that on our programs. For example, the SUMA program would give you the opportunity to study that. But as I said, the main focus is metals. Okay, does that help, Alejandra? Let's hope so. And then we have, yeah. So another question from Carmen, can you give us some examples of successful enterprises that have come out of your programs? Again, that's an interesting question. We have a number of students who have created startups. So I know of one student who created a company which was like a digital platform to encourage the circular economy of furniture for students. I know of one student who created a consultancy company which assists firms with sourcing their raw materials from more sustainable sources. I know of a student who created a company which uses biomaterials, in fact, to create more sustainable packaging solutions. Those are three off the top of my head, which have come from students of these programs. So, of course, the programs have only been around for a few years, and normally it takes a bit longer for companies to become big and household names, etc. And in fact, as you may know, it's often not the very first attempt which gives you your successful startup, but everything is a learning experience, I should add as well, to be realistic. Hope that answers your question, Carmen. Actually, you can look on the EIT Raw Materials website. You can see the links to all of the startups that we work with. Of course, not all of them come from students on our programs. Then Pablo, what about electrical studies, for example, microgrids, wind energy, substation designs, etc.? So, yeah, the programs are not at all in the area of electrical engineering. They are about materials. So if you wanted to study materials for wind energy, for example, as part of your studies, or for other types of electrical or generation or transmission equipment, of course, that would be absolutely in line with what you can study in our programs. But the focus is the materials, okay? It's not the actual design of the substation, for example, or the microgrids. Hope that helps. Hope that answers your question. Okay, so let me see. Do we have any more questions at all? I don't think so. Is there anything you'd like to add, Mohammed or Martha? Is there anything you'd like to add to what I've said before we show this final video from the label launch event?
I would just like to mention that some students have asked about, one person, Pablo, have asked about the electrical studies that you just mentioned. if they cannot find any labeled program from EIT raw materials, but there are some other bodies of EIT, they can look into them probably in EIT energy or EIT manufacturing. Maybe it will help and they can find some suitable program there. And also for the one which was about furniture design, architecture, I'm not really sure, but I don't know if they can directly find a program in EIT raw materials because I'm not familiar with the program. Studying in these majors, but probably EIT manufacturing, in the EIT manufacturing on some other bodies, they can find something. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Mohammed. That's a great point. So have a look, Pablo, at EIT Inno Energy, it's called. So Inno, I-double-N-O, Inno Energy. Give it a Google, and you'll most likely will find some relevant programs there. Anything else you wanted to add, Martha?
No, I just wanted to encourage everyone to apply. This program has been life-changing for me. I absolutely loved it. I've made lifelong friends and learned lots while doing it. So would highly, highly recommend one of these programs.
That's excellent to hear. Thank you, Martha. Let's have a little look at this last video from the Label Launch event. We've got some students giving like a little look back at their studies because it's the final event of EIT raw materials there. And then after that, I'm going to leave you with some contact details, and wonderful Carla has already put my email address in, and the ambassadors and all the links. Wonderful. So let's have a look at that video, shall we?
It's really a nice experience that you get to travel to many countries while you study a master's. You get to meet a lot of people from different countries within Europe and outside of Europe, and get to connect with the industry.
I decided, like all of us, to move to Europe during the pandemic, to be immersed by all these strangers who have like some similar interest, allowing them to become your family. It's pretty special.
The past 2 years have been amazing, really good group.
How was it? How did it feel? What worked? What's scary? What's good? We have to talk about the society we're going into, not the society we are leaving behind.
If you fail, that's not a failure. It's an experience.
Remember to integrate the magic that we have been talking about.
We're not talking to companies, we're talking to persons.
Be incredible and credible.
Standing up and being proud of what you bring to the table.
Don't you ever underestimate your skills. Don't you ever underestimate your skills.
Go out there, get out of your comfort zone, meet a lot of people, and you keep traveling, keep doing that. Even if you graduate, and show the people that we can make an impact.
Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to leave in the chat here the website where you can find the links to all of the programs. You've got on the screen here how to speak with our ambassadors. You can also reach that from the Masters page. And please do feel free to contact me, or indeed Mohammed and Mata. I think, Mata, are you already set up on the ambassadors page? Yep, so you can contact both of our lovely students stroke graduate here directly on this page and ask them any more questions that you might have. Contact me, and please do stay in touch. We hope that this has been useful for you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Oh, and I have one more thing to say, which is that we will be running some individual webinars for the different programs. So if you want to actually delve deeper into one of the programs, or more than one of the programs that we've talked about today, then you can do so. And I'm just putting a link now in the chat where you can pre-register to hear about when these webinars will take place. We'll also include all of this information in the email that we send out to you, so please look out for that. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon. And thank you also very much to our student ambassadors here, and to Carla.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for sharing all this amazing information with all of us. I hope that this live session was very beneficial for all the attendees. I will put on the screen just so you can take a very quick screenshot of the contact details, and I already shared them on the chat. And just to let you know that tomorrow you can watch this session again in case that you want to, or just share it with someone that you think that will get a benefit from hearing this out on the YouTube channel from the student world. And again, thank you, Mohammed, Ferdinand, and Martha, for sharing all your knowledge and for being here with us, even though it's super late for you. And I really hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye.